Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matthew Lundeen. Welcome to the Critical Spectrum Podcast. This is episode 3. I am joined here, as usual, by Michael Murgia.
Hello.
Colin Steele.
Howdy.
And Frank Pentrelli.
Hello there.
And today we're going to be talking about a couple of cool things. We're talking about the future of Marvel, the MCU, in fact. Whether that future is in the theaters or whether it's on Disney Plus and all those other weird streaming services. We also got some news to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about some news about NieR Automata. I know what you're thinking. That game came out 3 years ago. I know. But
and you're right.
Yeah, and you'd be right. But there's still news. How? We'll discuss it. But first, Colin Steele has been waiting. He's been dying to talk about a game called Call of the Sea. And I want to know what the hell it is. So, Colin, take it away.
Please.
So I just personally talk about this game because I feel like it should get a lot more attention than it actually did in the end. So it was first revealed at one of the Series X events, but essentially what it is imagine a puzzle game set in the 1930s that's like kind of a mix of Sea of Thieves in terms of graphical style, Indiana Jones, and mixed with H.P. Lovecraft, like Cthulhu sort of stuff. Essentially, you play as Nora, this woman who's like afflicted by some sort of disease, who's trying to find her husband, who's an archaeologist, who went to this island off the coast of Tahiti that's trying to find a cure for his wife's disease. And I didn't know about this until I got to the credits. But the husband's played by Yuri Lowenthal, so
The Bosque boy.
dude, my boy Bosque.
So what you're telling me is that this game is a current representation of how scientists are looking for the cure for coronavirus.
Yes, they're going into the jungles of Indonesia or wherever. I don't know where Tahiti is. I'm sorry. And just digging up relics. You're like, look at this stuff. Let's just throw it at someone with COVID, and then there you go.
So what's the gameplay like? So you said it's a puzzle game, but I saw like some of the artwork for the game. Is it like what's the gameplay like? Is it like a third-person like puzzle-solving game, or is it more? You
ever see like The Witness, like that other puzzle game that came out a few years ago?
Oh yes, from Jonathan Blow.
Yeah, it's basically just a first person, like, oh, how do you solve this puzzle to open this gate to further your journey sort of thing. But it's actually pretty clever in that the answers aren't right in front of you. Like I'm going to spoil one of the first puzzles essentially. But
Whoa. No, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
so basically, you have this wide open like jungle area that you have to search through, right? And there's like these, I guess what you call just planks with like various carvings in it. And
like Ed and Eddie.
Sorry, what was that, Michael?
I said like Ed and Eddie.
Sure.
That's a stretch.
You know what? I heard plank with carving on it, and whatever. Continue.
So basically, it's like a symbol of a bird or a wave on these planks, right? But they have like these prongs essentially on top of them. And the answer is based on the number of where the prong is at on the plank. That's where that symbol goes in like a dial at another place. So you really gotta like put things together in your mind. Like
it was kind of like the new Sea of Thieves, like Tall Tale, like some of those puzzles, but like on crack, I guess.
Honestly, yeah, it's kind of a good comparison, I would say.
Yeah. So it's basically like, Sea of Thieves, but like with story and just a Tall Tales.
Yeah, basically.
Now, when you compare it to Sea of Thieves, like, is it like does it have sort of a open world or some kind of sandbox element, or is it mostly like linear levels?
It's definitely just more linear levels. I was just comparing it to Sea of Thieves mainly because of the graphical style.
Right.
But I will say,
and I'm assuming there's a lot of water as well.
Yeah, yes, it's very centered around water actually. But
looks very visually pleasing from what I've seen from the game. It looks fucking amazing.
That's what got me in the end too. Was like I was looking at the water. I'm like, Man, I just want to dive in that shit, you know?
That and the like lush green too is fucking awesome looking.
That's what made Sea of Thieves so like visually pleasing. It's just like the lush, like vibrant green and like the nice blue. Although you have the crappy like gray place.
It has often been said that like the true test of graphical innovation in games is measured in lighting and shadows. That's like one of the key things that really makes or breaks someone's conception of what is truly next gen, or like what is really a step above when it comes to graphics. So
which is why I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here, but which is why I think Cyberpunk will look better on next gen when they bring in ray tracing, which is supposedly supposed to get. So we'll see.
True. Very true.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I've been looking at some of the screenshots, and this game does look very, very pretty.
Yeah. I will say though, my only 2 critiques of this game though is that the walking speed, there is technically a sprint in the game, but man, that is not a sprint. That's more like a brisk walk.
Well, she has a disease. What do you want from her?
No, but
you
like
sensitive pig.
But these puzzles take place. They're not. It's not like a sandbox though. But these puzzles are in like large areas. They have to put a bunch of stuff together. So like, I want to walk to one area to re-look at something. It takes like a bit, which yeah. But
well, they're obviously trying to make it seem more realistic, because if you're doing puzzles, nobody's sprinting back and forth to do the puzzles in real life.
I mean, if your life is at stake and your husband's being taken over by Cthulhu creatures.
Whoa. You don't know how I would act in that situation.
Yeah, but in Colin's defense, I feel like a lot of adventure games with puzzles and like jungle environments, the speed is typically, fast enough. Because if you're playing a game like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, you're jumping around, you're swinging on vines, you're getting from place to place in these large areas that were constructed specifically for puzzles. And so you want to make sure that, navigation through a puzzle zone is pleasing. And, because you're taking in the visuals, but you're also, at a certain point, eye candy can only go so far. Navigation has to be a pretty key component of gameplay. And if movement speed is just really sluggish and, a little too slow, I can see how that would be a pretty big issue. It's why like some certain older games, like if I go back and play Fallout 3, I'm just like, oh my God, where's the sprint button?
Does Fallout 3 not have a sprint button?
Neither does New Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is one of the only reasons why I haven't replayed it. I'm like, man, I want to replay New Vegas. And I think like, wow, I had to literally like run slowly, like brisk jog throughout the Mojave Wasteland. I don't know if I can do that again.
But the other thing I wasn't a big fan of the Call of the Sea was that there was this one puzzle that I admittedly had to look up the answer. And you might be saying, well, you're just breaking the point of a puzzle game. But I'm a terrible person.
That could have been part of the 5+ hours of gameplay. So if you beat it faster than that, it's because you cheated on the puzzle, Colin.
No, but the thing was that when I looked it up, I still didn't understand it though. I am convinced because like the answer wasn't even following the rules that this guide was telling me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, maybe the guide people didn't even understand it. They're like, we know this is just the answer.
That does remind me, because, it always feels bad when you're playing a puzzle game and you have to look up the answer. Like if you spent that much time with it, like I played Portal 2 years ago. Oh, such a great game. But there was only one puzzle where I legitimately had to look up the solution, because after a while I was just like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. So, but it's very difficult to tell, like, if it's just me being dumb or if it's actually the game's fault. I think that's like the issue sometimes with puzzle games, is because it could be really well designed and that's why you can't solve it, or it could be poorly designed, but it's like, I can imagine that's the issue with reviewing a puzzle game. Because then, like, if somebody just makes a video, it's like, the solution was easy. And it's like, oh man, look at this IGN reviewer who couldn't figure out a puzzle in SpongeBob.
But that one journalist who couldn't like play Cuphead, they couldn't like jump in the tutorial or some shit, and they were like shunned by the internet for it.
Oh no. Oh god. Imagine being like angry at the difficulty of a game that everybody already agrees is difficult, but for the worst reason.
Yeah, but because you couldn't do the tutorial of the game.
Oh no, God, that's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, overall though, the game is pretty hard. What'd you say? The tutorial? Oh, Cuphead. Yeah, tutorial is fucking super easy. Yeah, that's why everybody was like, "What's wrong with you, bro? Like, have you ever played games?"
So, Colin, but across the board, you had fairly positive feelings towards the game overall.
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely made you like actually think about like the environment that I was presenting and how each of these aspects contribute to said puzzle. It felt very rewarding when you actually figured it out, but I'm assuming, I mean, I don't usually play puzzle games, but I'm assuming this is the case with a lot of puzzle games in that it can be frustrating. And then once you get it, you're like, oh, I'm a genius, you know?
God.
God. But overall, I would say it's a solid like 8.5 out of 10. I just wanted to expose more people to it because I feel like more people should play it personally.
And I feel like from what I've heard, it's first off a short game, so it's like you have time to beat it if you do too much stuff. As as from what I saw, it's also on Game Pass. So if y'all already got a Game Pass on either your PC, which actually I don't know if it's on PC Game Pass, but it's on Xbox Game Pass from what I've heard. So if you have an Xbox and Game Pass, might as well download it and play it.
Sucks to be a PlayStation nerd.
Whoa, we're not starting this console war today, Frank.
Goodness gracious. And
for another time.
How much does it cost if you don't have Game Pass?
It's only like $20. I'd say it's definitely worth it for a good little jaunt, Indiana Jones jaunt.
That's only $4 per hour. That's pretty decent. Mm-hmm. If you want to break it down mathematically.
That's actually cheaper than buying an hour-long episode of something on
Amazon Prime, probably.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Overall, I would recommend it, but
yeah. I don't play.
I might actually play it now.
I don't play nearly enough puzzle games because like I love shit like Portal, and so you'd think that I would enjoy more games in the puzzle genre. So I don't know. Maybe I know that the first month of Game Pass is like only $1, so maybe I'll give it a try and maybe play some other stuff at the same time. But
I mean, you might as well if it's only $1. And I don't know if you've ever got. I mean, I know if you already got it once, you can't do it again. But
yeah,
I mean, you could also just buy it for like a month, which I think is like $5 maybe, and then you could just play it then, anyways. I'm pretty sure you're saving money either way if you at least buy a month of Game Pass and play it compared to buying it straight out.
True. What about you, Frank? You play puzzle games? You like puzzles?
Not typically. I mean, I do like puzzles. Puzzles are fun. But I typically don't play games like that.
He's a first-person shooter man.
Understandable. Yeah. I'm a man after my own heart. I'm just wondering, since we're on the topic of puzzle games, just quick side tangent. Have any of you guys played Portal or Portal 2?
I have not.
I have on my friend's PC when I was like in 2nd grade or some shit. I don't remember what year it was.
Oh man, I feel like Portal 1 is pretty good. I feel like Portal 2 is like required gaming. I feel like at some point we all need to like make a list of what are like the games we think are absolutely required gaming.
It's almost as if we have something called Culture Corner that might be coming up for that.
Oh yeah, Culture Corner.
Matt, you want to plug Culture Corner real quick?
Oh yeah, Culture Corner, which was a segment on Michael and Frank's previous podcast that which I always loved the idea of, but I never actually had the chance to listen to the episodes where the show was done. But it's basically we're going to share, like we're all going to submit ideas for things that we like that maybe most of, if not all of the other hosts haven't seen or aren't too familiar with. And then we'll watch something and get everyone's thoughts on it. So it's a way of sharing media.
Get like you'll get a fan's view, and then like 3 people who either are also fans or who have never seen it and are brand new. So
yeah, and they'll either love it or they'll hate it, and it'll be great.
Or be middling and be like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, exactly. Or be middling and be like, it'll be like, or
Are there levels to middling that I don't know about? There's like like you don't like it that much, but like
but I mean, but if it's a middling like then it's like that's basically like bad. That's like more badly. But if you're like
yeah, I get what you're saying.
I can feel it,
Michael. You need to be specific, Michael.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. I'll be better next time.
You're giving off the wrong ideas.
Let's list off a few things that could be possibly coming up in that. I mean, like, I know what I was doing with Michael before is I was showing him Batman the Animated Series and he was showing me Dragon Ball Z. So I feel like that's a pretty broad topic, a big fan base around both of those.
True.
And it's interesting to see hardcore fans of each and then newbies to each. It's like cool because you get opinions on each. So I thought it was really fun.
Old they are.
Yeah, it was really fun. It's like a very nostalgic shows. So it was really fun to do with those. And I'm sure there's all kind of things that you Colin and Matt want to show us. And I know I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to show you guys. So I'm excited to do that for sure.
Yeah, I've got tons of ideas, and that's why I'm like trying to limit myself in terms of.
I'm sure you do.
I'm trying to limit those suggestions because like I want to share stuff that I think is like premium, like 10 out of 10 stuff, and other stuff that I just think is kind of cool. But like I don't want to swarm you guys with stuff. I don't want to smother you with suggestions for good shit. So
it'll be fine. It doesn't even have to be, I feel like it doesn't have to be like things you think are 10 out of 10. It could even be your guilty pleasures that you're like, yeah, I like the show, but like other people don't like it and it's trash, but like I like it, so here you go. I think that would be good too.
Like second season of Sword Art Online, great season.
Wait, Gun Gale? Or are you talking about the second part of season 1?
Careful there.
Flying fairy part. That's what I'm
that's boo.
Part of season 1.
I thought you were going to say Gun Gale.
No.
Matt. Well, okay. See, look, this will be good for future.
I know. All right. Shall we move on to
for that conversation eventually?
Yeah.
Shall we move on to our other piece of news for the week?
Yeah, NieR Automata, if you want to kick us off, Matt, with that.
Yes. So, 3 years and 10 months ago, NieR Automata came out, the newest like sci-fi spectacle fighter game from director Yoko Taro, who's just an absolute madman. And it was produced by Platinum Games, who've made games like Metal Gear Rising and Bayonetta. And
wait, this director dude, that's Mr. Moonhead Man, right?
Yes, it's the guy who always wears that big moon mask. That's actually
nice.
That's actually the helmet that one of his characters in the original NieR wore.
Break, you need to look it up because I know you don't know what he looks like.
Oh my god!
Does anyone actually know what his face looks like?
I tried looking it up once. I don't know if there is actually a picture of his real face. Yeah,
I think he's know what Daft Punk looks like.
Shut up, Colin. Don't take this from me.
Do we know what Daft Punk looks like? I've never thought to look up what their actual faces are. But
I'm terrified by the things that have come up on Google when I look up Moonhead director.
Oh, well, that's not the right thing you should have been looking up.
Yoko what?
Yoko Taro.
How the hell am I going to spell that?
Japanese, it's spelled exactly how it sounds. Yoko Taro. It's very simple.
And it's a K instead of a C, though.
Autocorrect is not helping me.
No, it rarely
does.
Why
does autocorrect not want to use Japanese? What is it?
All right.
Anti-Japanese?
While you guys are looking that up, I'll explain. NieR Automata was a game that had a ton of secrets. And at one point, the director came out and said that there is one final secret that nobody has found yet.
And I would like to stop you. How long ago did he say that?
Like 3 years and 10 months ago.
Didn't he say that like when the game was out? Like he said this so long ago. It took people 3 years and 10 months to
find
find
it.
this
Wait, Matt-
last final secret.
Yes, Frank?
Sorry, I just had cut out a little bit. But Matt, are you one of the people that has been waiting 3 years for this?
I mean, it's one of those things where it pops up now and again. Like, I remember a year or two ago, I'd looked it up, like, hey, has anyone found it yet? People thought that when they added the camera mode, like because every video game that is even remotely good looking needs to have like a photo mode now. People were thinking, oh man, with the with the mobility of a photo mode, you could find a bunch of secrets that might be hidden behind walls and stuff. So with NieR Automata, there was a crap ton of secrets, and finally, a cheat code has been discovered that will let you skip the entire game.
What the hell?
Back after the game came out, Yoko Taro said that there was one final secret waiting to be found, and now it has been found. It was discovered that after the very first boss fight in the prologue, you can position the main character, 2B, between two sets of barrels and input a code on the controller that will skip right to the post-credit scene of the game, effectively unlocking effectively unlocking the chapter select and the debug menu, which was essentially a thing for other cheat codes. So the person who discovered this is actually someone who I'm somewhat familiar with, a man by the name of Lance McDonald, who is famous for discovering hidden and cut content deep in the files of games such as Bloodborne or PT. So this guy, look him up on YouTube. He has incredible content. He's uncovered like entire bosses and boss arenas from games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls that were cut out originally. It's super interesting to kind of, because you get an idea of the types of stuff that was abandoned on the cutting room floor as the game was coming along. It's super interesting stuff. And he uncovered this code after hundreds of hours of reverse engineering. And after he revealed this, like after he posted this on Twitter, the video quickly caught attention of the official like NieR Twitter account and director Yoko Taro himself, who confirmed that this was in fact the final secret. So this was
God.
Oh yeah, it was huge. It is absolutely insane.
That's actually really interesting.
Secret. Yeah.
I feel
that man has probably moved out into the country somewhere, is just like sitting peacefully, and then like someone drives to his house, knocks on the door, like frantic, like they found it. I feel like that could just be like a movie scene.
I like imagining him like drinking iced tea on a porch with exactly. He can't get the straw past the mouth of the moon helmet. And then somebody comes onto the porch. It's like, Hotaro-san, mitsuketa. Oh man, it'd be I should write this. I should write this sketch and submit it. I don't know who I'd submit it to. I hear Polygon's looking for a new guy now that Brian David Gilbert left. But I actually have a question for you guys based on this new secret, because obviously a lot of games like NieR, and I feel like just Japanese developed games in general, tend to have a lot of stuff like this, the hidden Easter eggs, the types of stuff that takes entire communities to search for and to discover. So do you think that more developers should invest time into creating these secrets that bring people together to scour games for answers? Like, is it something you think is like take it or leave it, like it's unnecessary, or do you think it can like deepen a game experience?
I feel like it can deepen it, but at the same time, if it's something so fucking obscure, like only the diehard like fan players are gonna find that shit. Like, who would have thought I need to go between two fucking barrels and start entering in some random ass fucking code?
Hey, you never know.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like that's like just so random out of the blue. Like, I feel like somebody probably did that on accident and didn't think it was a cheat code, thought it was a glitch. They probably just like accidentally ran into those barrels and started like dropped their controller and they pressed all the buttons in the perfect order and then transported them into the future.
Can you imagine?
Future. I had to.
Can you imagine being the person who like maybe played the game on day one and you dropped your controller like, shit, and then you look up and then it skips straight to the end of like ending E, because keep in mind there's 26 and there's an ending for each letter of the alphabet in NieR Automata. Only the first 5 of which are like the main endings, and everything else is like joke endings. Like there's an ending where you can die by eating a fish that's poisoned.
I like that ending.
Well, actually, I don't think it's poison. It's just that like since your character is a cyborg, like an or like an android,
Fish doesn't agree with them.
It doesn't agree with them. There's also an ending for going into. There's actually an ending for going into the menu and removing your OS chip, and then you just die. And it's like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Committing seppuku.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's there's a ton of crazy shit in that game, and I love shit like this because I feel like there's some game developers who, to them, they have a really complex story, and then they go the extra mile and are like, I want to make the experience of the game, the meta of the game, something that will keep people talking for years afterward. And stuff like that, I think, is special.
That's true. All publicity is good publicity. So I can't even say that word right. I don't even know if they said like publicity. But I mean, overall, again, I do think it is interesting overall. I just feel like if it gets too in depth, then you're going a little too far. But I mean,
I think it's awesome. I've never played this game before, and just him telling me that there has been this like 3-year grind to find this like secret thing that he just let out. That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you guys when I was younger, me and my cousins were super into the Five Nights at Freddy's games.
Oh yeah.
And I know there was all these like hidden meanings behind it that like game theorists would like talk about and stuff. And I think that's cool. And then like the creator would come out and be like, "Oh, he's right. He figured it out." Like I think that's cool when you have to like back to the puzzle games. Maybe I do like puzzle games. Maybe I should play that game, Call of the Sea.
There you go.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Colin, what do you think? Do you think is that something that would keep you going? Are there any games that you guys have played like that you've actually actively tried to search?
No,
I want to get this game and do the barrel thing, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you gotta think though. At what point do these developers just keep a debug system in, or just like glitch, and there's like, oh, it's a feature now, you know?
I mean, that's true. Yeah, at a point they were like, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Exactly. Thanks, Todd Howard.
Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk be like, yeah, that car flying into the wall, it's a feature. It's
Actually, legit, I did see articles of, you know how the NPCs, no matter where you shoot, they just start like cowering and like 20 billion people are just like ducking, covering. So there's an article that's like, that actually might be part of the programming. It's actually like something it's supposed to happen. I'm like, but why?
Nice. It's funny you mentioned that because the idea of a feature being just a bug that just works. I was doing something in Cyberpunk where I tried to get to a mansion that's only ever shown in one story mission later on, because there's a way to get there and get all the shit that's inside there. And so I had to do a bunch of climbing, and I had to use an exploit where you slow down time, dash forward, and it sends you forward like a fucking rocket. So I was boost jumping across the atrium of V's apartment building. And then I was like, oh shit, how do I get down? And when I looked it up, apparently like it's like, oh yeah, run along the railing. There's like a weird glitch where if you run alongside the railing, it like speeds you up. And then I just had to jump and double jump. It's a feature. It's a feature.
It's a feature.
That's one of the things I noticed in Cyberpunk is when you go on an angle, it just freaking launches you for no reason.
I was trying to like run down the banister of like stairs just cause, and I just like flew into the ground and died. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Michael, that's a feature. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
Part of the game,
obviously.
But the NieR thing is cool, but it just honestly sounds just like a debug thing they just left in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe, but like I could do entire
wait. What if he just said some bullshit when he released the game? He's like, yeah, there's some secret feature. And then he's just like a bunch of bugs in the game. And then like, he's like, one day they'll find the bug and assume that it's fucking the feature or some shit like that.
or he literally like just like patched this in like yesterday.
The time has come. Execute order barrels.
Well, because the people,
Gone. We left a debug system in the game. Shit. Well, we'll just call it the Easter egg. It's fine.
well, because they already kind of have like even just the aesthetic
Play
of
it
the
off.
game. They have features like that. Like they have literally the debug menu is just a menu that you can turn on, and then you can use that to spawn enemies and shit. So it's essentially like almost like a console input that you'd find in a PC game, but easily accessible in a console game. It's so strange. I could do an entire episode just on like the secrets in NieR. Especially my favorite is the guy the merchant you can go to who literally sells achievements. You can just buy the achievements from him.
What? Well, how efficient is that?
It's so weird, and I
Too
thought,
lazy to do it. Just buy it. Capitalism at its finest.
But it doesn't tell you what you're buying. So I bought one, and then I saw the achievement. I was like, no fucking way. And I was like, there's got to be a punishment for this. And I kept waiting for one, but I think he literally just was a cheeky shit and wanted to put in a merchant who just sells you the achievements. And I think
he's
that
like,
is
why bother
hilarious.
getting it when you could just buy it? Because he was trying to talk about capitalism and how people are being paid to win and they have to pay so much money to win at the game. So they're like, put that as a mechanic. Capitalism.
Good, Matt.
Speaking of capitalism,
don't lie to us, Matt.
Speaking of capitalism, Disney, Marvel.
I think speaking of capitalism,
I think he meant ad break.
12 cents, boys.
Wait, before we go on ad break, last thing on this game that Matt was talking about, did this man that found the 3-year thing, did he get anything out of it?
I'm gonna look that up because I hope he got something. I think it was mostly just the recognition, but I mean he's been doing this.
I hope he has a job. I hope he's not like L from Death Note, just like hiding in his room. I don't know if you guys have
I'm
seen
pretty sure that he's monetized his career because with the number of videos he's made, I think he makes a living doing these types of things, like digging deep into the game files and making these videos about the production process and secrets and stuff like that. So I have no doubt that he's definitely getting even more traction now because of all this shit. And as he should, he's a great.
He's traction our way, please.
Yeah,
please.
He's an absolutely awesome content creator. And if you love games like Bloodborne or the Souls franchise, or just even have a passing interest in them, absolutely check out his work. That name again is Lance McDonald. You can find him on YouTube. Awesome content. And so now. So we're going to take a quick ad break, and then when we return, we're going to talk about Marvel.
All right, welcome back from that wonderful ad. So we're going to be discussing the future of the MCU. So that's including all the too many references to that. We probably need to kill that. It's dead.
That was the last time.
No, it's not.
It's absolutely not.
No shot. But that includes like the future Disney Plus shows and of course all the movies that they're going to put out. Of course Disney's making them, but so the show I'm most excited for, and it's not a brand new one. I mean, it's the show that's coming out next week, WandaVision, that we will be talking out. Shout out to next episode, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna discuss the first 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Yeah,
and like Wanda is one of my favorite female superhero, like period. So like Batman's my favorite male, and then female is Wanda, like Scarlet Witch.
Good taste.
Yeah, I love her. She's so badass. So just her having her own show alone is enough for me to get hyped. I'm not a huge fan of Vision in the MCU, to be honest. Like he's cool, but not like comic book cool Vision to me. He gives me a different feel just because of his whole Jarvis thing.
Yeah,
actually, I don't know. Is he Jarvis? He's not Jarvis in the comics, right? He was just made by Ultron or something like that.
I don't even know
I'm
if he
trying
was
to
made by
remember.
Ultron in the comics. Honestly, I know he doesn't have the Mind Stone for sure. I'd have to
Yeah,
brush up
see,
because I remember I did look it up at one point, but I want to say he's like completely like not even part of the Infinity War like thing like at all.
Yeah.
Well, Ultron is a whole different event than the Infinity event.
So
Yeah.
I don't even think Vision is. You know, what? I'm gonna you keep talking. I'm gonna look this up.
Well, I just want to say,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying because I feel like Vision is one of those characters where it's like, oh, he's kind of cool, but like, is he really that interesting? And for me, I kind of find him more interesting when he's paired up with Wanda because I
Wanda.
like the
Yeah.
because I like that idea of
Good
their
point. Good point.
you know their I like those romantic relationships, especially in the MCU, where there's this like there's maybe a tension or there's just this they're both kind of flawed in their own ways. Like that's why I really liked Black Widow and Hulk in Age of Ultron because they kind of did a Beauty and the Beast dynamic, and I really like the idea of super powerful Robo Man and incredibly powerful, practically goddess like
Yeah,
Scarlet
no,
Witch.
she's top 3 most powerful Avenger probably in the MCU.
Yeah,
Which is a shame because I feel like she doesn't get like that much character development throughout the MCU, which I'm hoping the show gives us. You know.
I agree with all their new heroes they brought in. There wasn't a ton they did with them, but I think that's what they want to do in this phase 4. There's going to be so much out of this show with just that character of Wanda, and the show is very exciting for me. Like Vision to me was amazing in Age of Ultron that he made me go right to the comic store and buy like a little HeroClix toy of him that I would play that when I was younger. So I was like, I was on board. I was like, get me on this train. Vision is awesome. And then like slow Civil War, he was like, ugh. And then in Infinity War, you're like, do something. And then he just gets his head ripped off. And then you're
he
like,
gets stabbed, and then he's like, and you're like, oh, he's gonna get repaired, and then he's like, I'm good now, and then he gets his fucking head ripped off. Sorry, I jumped in because also he was actually created from the original body of the Human Torch.
Jamie? Oh wow, no way.
Because the original Human Torch, if you guys didn't know, was an android, by the way.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, you can actually. Oh, sorry. I just want to say a little bit of trivia. You can actually see the original Human Torch's like I don't know if it's like his or maybe I don't know if it's costume or a statue of him, but like you can see that in the very first Captain America movie at like a fair that Steve is at with Bucky in the movie.
That's really cool. I did not know that because I know they're supposed to be like they teamed up in some comics.
Oh yeah, wow,
that's the original Human Torch was in World War II with Steve. So yeah, that was the whole thing. But anyways, he was created by Ultron, so that he could fight his Ultron's creator. Which, by the way, I did not know this. It was actually Hank Pym who created Ultron.
Oh,
yeah.
So fun fact for comic people. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I dropped that bomb on you guys. Anyways, continue.
Thank you for that fact. You're like our Jamie to Joe Rogan's podcast.
You're welcome. I'm like Lawrence for whatever
Dude
that.
Soup.
Thank you, Dude Soup. Yep.
Yeah, the Funhouse podcast.
Yeah, Funhouse. There we go.
Let's keep comparing ourselves to other people.
and then that way we'll just blow up. That's how it works.
Hey, I like that.
Hey, now you can put hashtag Dude Soup and hashtag Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh,
That's true.
I had a question for you, Frank. Actually, so since Vision has technically died in Infinity War, how will they come back in the show? Because I was never clear about that.
Well, they haven't explained that yet.
This is what I assume is happening because a huge element that is going to play into this is one. There's a whole. I am not a huge Marvel comic guy. I know a decent amount just from talking to people, but I believe there was a whole event with Wanda. I don't know when it was. I don't think it was recent. It may have been recent because I might be confusing them with two different stories, but I know Wanda or Scarlet Witch and Vision had kids. So I don't know. I believe everything you're seeing Vision is, I believe this is just going to be Wanda hallucinating. I don't think Vision is going to be actually in it. or if she's able to bring him back somehow with her own powers. I think that's the only way that would happen.
I think that's what it is. I think because she can bend reality in the comics, so I think she's going to end up fucking with
That's what's
reality
happening.
and bring him back somehow, like in her own vision, so to speak. Haha.
I believe what they're setting up in this show is Wanda is going to fuck reality up because she's heartbroken and stuff, and she might get her vision back. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see the repercussions of this
Wait, was
show
she
in
blind?
Spider.
I'm sorry.
Boo.
That was a good joke, but terrible.
I'm sorry.
But you're going to see the repercussions of that in the Spider-Man 3, and that's why I believe there are going to be multiple Spider-Mans and stuff like that, because the multiverse is going to be like fucked. And then in the Doctor Strange movie, which Wanda's going to be in it, they're going to fix it together or something like that. So that's what I believe is going to happen. I know there are. Does anyone have anything to say about that?
Here's the thing. The funny thing is, like, you're explaining all this now about like that story. I remember my dad and I were talking about this because my dad is the biggest, like, apart from like you, my dad is like the biggest comic fan I know, and he was telling me about
me.
And maybe just purely in a number of years, but you both talk about it equally passionately, I will say. My dad was telling me about that storyline in the comics, and the more he was describing like the way that, like what happened between, Wanda and Vision, and, her altering reality so they could have children, and then all kinds of other like nonsense happening throughout the entire Marvel universe. And then Doctor Strange being like, who the fuck didn't tell me that all this shit was going on? And then like,
oh my god, that's exactly what's going to happen in the MCU. That's fucking awesome. I know
that's why I'm so excited, because like the prospect of,
that's awesome.
And there's things like, I don't know how they're gonna like present it. Like if they're gonna go kind of like darker and like weird and like mindfucky with it, or if it's going to be like a more typical MCU tone. But I'm really excited, primarily because I want them to make something that's just weird. I want it to be weird, but I also want it to just be because it looks like it's going to be different from like everything else they've done in the past and I love weird shit like this, where it feels like we aren't going to really have all the answers until like episodes in, and then when we get the answers, it'll be like, whoa, I'm hoping for kind of like a HBO Watchmen type feel of like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but when the answers come, I'm gonna be excited.
Well, that's
I know, same here.
That's why I'm excited about the new Doctor Strange movie, because apparently it's going to be more like a horror movie. I'm like, wow, I would have never paired a horror movie with the MCU,
Directed by Sam Raimi.
I didn't know that it had a horror. Sounds amazing. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and a scary multiverse fucking up movie. That sounds amazing.
That sounds very delicious.
That just gets me erect listening to that. That sounds fucking wonderful.
Honestly, what part of what I also think is going to happen, besides her also fucking up the multiverse, in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, she literally has the power to, like, I'm pretty sure she'd kill all the X-Men at one point. So hypothetically,
there's no
if she
X-Men
can
to kill.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if she can destroy the X-Men, hypothetically,
oh my
she
god,
could create the X-Men.
Create them. Oh, Michael! Hot take. Heard first at Critical Spectrum. Scarlet Witch creates the X-Men.
Another theory I heard was like the X-Men always existed in the MCU, but they were pulling some bullshit. They were just in hiding or something.
Okay,
like
so
that.
people are like, yeah, I want that. I don't want that. I think that's going to be so dumb if they're like, yeah, through all of this and the snap and everything, they're all just fucking going out somewhere doing something else.
Yeah, because
they
wouldn't be able to get away with that.
It could work, maybe.
The thing is, they couldn't get away with that though, because like, I as much as I would love for them to find some way, like the only way they'd be able to merge like an existing X-Men universe with this X-Men universe with this Marvel universe, I mean, is if they did like an alternate reality type thing, and that's suggesting that they would bring back the old cast, which I don't think they're going to do, because I mean, you look back at the old X-Men franchise, there were several like big like not world ending, but like big enough that people would remember. People would remember Magneto destroying and turning the fucking
Yeah,
was it the Brooklyn
Magneto's fucking
Bridge?
awesome.
Yeah. So I feel
That's
like
insane. And he's Wanda's father.
Well, I
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
they actually, I think they changed that in the new comics because they didn't have the X-Men. So technically, in the newer comics, they like made up a bullshit reason that she's not or something like that.
I hate
Yeah.
that they're changing the comics for the movies. Pisses me off.
Well,
Well,
it's because they're like, oh, we want it to be relatable, I guess, or like connect, and they're like, they want to be able to make movies about it, and they can't make a movie with a character they don't own.
exactly.
Hey, when I can rant about Future State for DC, they're getting rid of comic book writers and bringing screenwriters in, just so they can adapt them into movies better. But it's just like it's not going well.
well, going back,
Not to say that, but
quickly going back to what Michael was saying, I think another reason, a bigger reason as to why they probably changed origin stories is, like he said, they didn't own the characters because of the fucking shitty deal that like Ike Perlmutter made back in the day when you know when Marvel was making the deal with Fox for like the movie rights and shit, which is also the same reason why it's taken this long for us to get a new Fantastic Four movie. So that's probably more of the reason why they had to change things. But that point you made about the potential of Scarlet Witch being able to make major changes to the universe is delightful to me. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And this last thing on WandaVision, unless anyone else wants to say anything, just because we're going to talk on it for like an hour next week.
Yeah.
Is there was this one really good story by this writer named Tom King. He actually had a terrible run on Batman, but he wrote a story on Vision, which was fantastic, which eventually got him into writing Batman and stuff like that. But they're using a ton of aspects from that, which I'm really, really excited for.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. I mean, even just what I've seen of just like the trailer, like everybody's like, oh, it looks too weird. I'm like, no, that looks just the right amount of weird that I want in what I think this should be. So
I'm always going to respect a show or movie more for trying new things rather than sticking to the same formula, you know?
Which I think that's what Disney Plus is doing with all of their shows. Hence why Mandalorian did so well. It's definitely something different we haven't seen before. So I'm very excited for everything they're fucking coming out with too.
Have you guys off topic a little bit? Have you guys ever seen that meme where it's like I'm totally blanking out on the name. It's like the big wooden horse that they're sneaking into
Trojan
the castle. Have you seen? Yes. Have you seen that where it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are leading it in, and the title of it above is a Star Wars story after Return of the Jedi about a bounty hunter, and inside is all the Clone Wars characters.
I mean, honestly, that's what happened. They're like, hey, look, we have this cool thing after this. Dave Filoni's like, my time to shine.
That's pretty funny.
He had to sneak in from Kathleen Kennedy. But all right, who wants to speak on the thing next?
I could go if there's no objections.
Yeah, I mean, do that.
So initially, I was going to say that the thing I was most excited for was going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because Russo brothers, political fiction, a bit of espionage. I love Captain America: Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU film because it's a superhero film at heart, but it tells its superhero tale about like a man out of time in a really interesting way by kind of commenting on all those fears about surveillance that were kind of like topical at the time the movie came out. And I think it had, a solid villain. I think it's the best that Black Widow was ever written. And some of the coolest action. Like that was Black Widow at her sassiest.
Remember the opening scene with that like awesome costume on too, and he's fighting George St. Pierre. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was so cool.
On the boat, right? Or the whatever the fucking
man.
Yeah,
cruiser.
it was awesome. That costume was my favorite Captain. Actually, I love the black costume he wore in Infinity War. Take that back.
Yeah, that was cool too. But yeah, I agree that is one of his coolest outfits. The super soldier outfit is awesome. But
that like dark blue suit, pretty awesome.
Great. But like
it's more of a navy. Sorry.
Oh,
But the Russo
Don't be that
brothers, I as much as I love their work in like Civil War or Infinity War Endgame, I think that I'll always love what they can do with a simple kind of spy tale. And what the attention they give to action is really cool. But now, like, I'm kind of more leaning towards I'm excited for Loki. And the reason is because
Oh,
I'm going to stop you for a second. I am the same exact way, but you can continue.
yeah, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to say as well. Because for me, I think that Endgame was very ballsy in that it was like, hey, it's the end of Phase 3. Let's inject time travel into the universe now. That's not going to make things complicated. So the idea of a show about Loki being held prisoner by people who are supposed to basically safeguard the timeline of the MCU,
and it's Owen Wilson.
And it's Owen Wilson.
If I don't hear one, wow, I quit that show. I am shutting it off immediately. And
I'm sure it'll be in there. They're aware of the MCU's aware of the memes that they're a part of. So
yeah, that's true.
So I'm just excited to see the type of crazy shit that show will offer, because I think that's like, I don't want to say it's like more or like less weird than what we would get from like WandaVision, but I feel like it's like you said earlier, Michael, like it's exactly the right kind of weird that I'm looking for.
Right. I think this is definitely going to be, I think it's going to be weirder than WandaVision. I think WandaVision is going to be weird for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is going to be a little bit more wacky because they can kind of just go like balls deep into whatever the hell they want to do. Because like, it's not going to affect the timeline because this is all about like changing time or fucking with time or doing whatever with time. So just the fact that I saw like a vote for Loki, like president pin on his like Loki suit that he had on, I don't know, just that in itself, like I'm like, this is gonna be a wacky ass show and I'm gonna love it for it.
Hell yeah.
So I'm definitely excited for it. Sorry.
I wonder if Thor is going to be in it at all. Wouldn't that would be pretty cool, right?
I would be interested.
I remember someone like
it, though. Would he?
I mean, it's time. So I mean, if they're going a different timeline,
that could come up.
Yeah.
Well, he also says
pretty
in
sure
the
they're
trailer
gonna bring back Black Widow. So
yeah, because he said in the trailer like Thor, like brother Heimdall, you better be ready. So I'm and here's the thing, because I kind of I miss Heimdall. I think Idris Elba did a great job, and I feel like that he never really got all the screen time and love that he deserved. So I'd love it if he brought Heimdall back. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I think they will. I think they're gonna bring Heimdall and Black Widow back. Because the fact that I saw her in the trailer already leaves me, or at least we think we saw her in the trailer.
Yeah, we think that was her. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I hope they don't, because those were two pretty important deaths in Infinity War. And I feel like that just takes it away.
I think they need to bring it back for sure, but they need to, or they don't need to, but if they do, I think they're just going to bring it back for like a nod to it in a way, like maybe just like
that's cool.
Man out of time, kind of like, hey, you're supposed to be dead.
Hey.
I think it would be more important for them to take the opportunity to do something like, elevate Florence Pugh's character from the new Black Widow movie, however, in whatever capacity she'll be in the film, to be the new, because I feel like they're hinting that she's going to become the new Black Widow after the movie is over. Because, if they can just introduce new people and to comprise as a new Avengers for, however many years in the future there will be a new Avengers film, I think that'd be great. So yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to maybe get a cameo from Black Widow, but I don't think they should bring her back to life necessarily. But
that was like the big death of Infinity War.
Yeah, but also
that's true.
Was that Endgame? Excuse me, I'm saying Infinity War.
Yeah, I was gonna say Endgame, but actually the big death of Endgame was Iron Man. So
it's true. I did cry.
Yeah, I am wrong.
I think
that's rough.
What's interesting to note that if that is Black Widow, she looks like she's wearing the outfit from the first Avengers movie. And there were some pretty notable scenes between Black Widow and Loki in which they were very much not on the same side and very antagonistic towards each other. So it'd be interesting if, as part of Loki's long redemption arc or character arc, whatever, if part of that was being able to talk with someone with whom he had perhaps his most villainous conversation with on screen. Like I still
That's
remember
true.
that. I still remember that him slamming against the glass and like insulting her, calling her a mewling quim and all that stuff. Like,
What a wonderful scene that was.
What a wonderfully well worded insult too.
True that.
But yeah, I'm just very excited for the weird shit that's going to come from Marvel. Colin, what are you most excited about?
I'm honestly looking forward to the What If show. I didn't know it was animated, but before I get to that, the one thing I am worried about the new MCU though is that I don't want it to become the Dragon Ball effect. I'm just going to call it that now, where death doesn't matter. They just keep bringing people back, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, I understand that, but at the same time,
do that.
Yeah. So the only reason why they shouldn't do that, or not the only reason, but I understand why they shouldn't do that. But at the same time, if you're basing this off of comic books, you know how many times that fucking happens in comics. So
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
stop you right there, Michael. And these are movies, and we cannot let that happen because that's one of the biggest things I don't like about comics is how you can never have a meaningful death. Like my favorite story arc, and Batman dies at the end of it with the Joker, and then they're just gonna come back, and that takes away from it a little bit. So I really hope they do not do that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I really hope they don't either, but I feel like they might do that with some characters. But I really hope they don't. Like, I hope they keep Loki in his own separate thing and don't bring him back into main continuity at this point. I hope they just do his own show and then be like, yeah, he fucked off to whatever time, whatever. But
I think if there's one person that can come back, it's Loki because he's done it before and he's like the trickster and stuff like that. And
that is true. Yeah, I guess that's true. Loki, yeah. I feel like Tony definitely shouldn't come back unless it's a multiverse thing where he like comes from a different multiverse and like, hey, I'm the sorcerer supreme of this multiverse. And that would be interesting. But like, he definitely should not come back as Iron Man. I think he should just stay bad, even though I want him back.
That's the question I have about the Secret Invasion show that's coming up. Because I looked up the plot of Secret Invasion a week or so ago, and I'm like, it was like Nick Fury and Tony Stark like secretly fight the Krell. I'm assuming Tony Stark's not going to be part of the show or anything unless it's a different timeline.
Well, what they could do, because they're also doing the Ironheart show, which is the female like
and Armor Wars.
Yeah, so I mean, what they could do is they could just replace Tony Stark with another. I mean, Ironheart. I don't remember her name, her actual name, but I mean, she's pretty fucking smart.
What they could do, which I mean, this depends on what level of control Sony's going to let Marvel have over Spider-Man again. I don't know if they're again just going to cut it off soon or whatever, but they could give Spider-Man that role instead, because obviously in Far From Home, he's kind of becoming the new Tony Stark. I had air quotes, by the way. But either way, he's kind of becoming the new Tony Stark, how they were saying in there. So in the comics, that's how Venom comes into the picture, is that in Secret Invasion, he goes off to other planets, or Secret Wars, technically. So yeah, whatever, but either way.
Different thing, Michael.
Yeah, but still, either way, they could do it in Secret Invasion. They could do it in Secret Invasion and then get the symbiote, and then that's how they introduce Venom.
They're going to do the Secret Wars on the line, and I hope they introduce Venom that way, because Spider-Man gets a symbiote in space.
If they even can, depending on what Sony says. But anyways, Colin, continue.
Before I move on to my short rant about the What If show, can I just say, I really hope the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is just the really shitty Star Wars holiday special.
That's what I was going to say. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Whereas it's instead of them just awkwardly interacting with Chewbacca's family, it's just them with just a bunch of Groots just being like, happy life day, everybody.
And then all it is is, I am Groot.
Family, but they're dead.
Oh my God.
What?
No, I'm sorry. I was saying like it, because how Chewbacca, and the worst part of the holiday special was that you couldn't like understand Chewbacca, and they didn't give you subtitles, so all it could just be is, I am Groot. Yeah. I am Groot. I want it. I want it to happen now.
Very excited for that too, because I feel like James Gunn could just have a field day with that. Be
Oh,
perfect.
absolutely.
And there's the I Am Groot like little mini series too. There's like so much shit coming out. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
They are literally going to oversaturate us, and I love it.
But see,
Yeah,
like,
just
that's another thing I'm worried about is that oversaturation where I'm just like not going to care at a certain point, though.
Alan, it's been like 12 years, and we've not been oversaturated yet. So I feel
You're
like I'm
living
just
in
going
the
to continue.
prime.
But like
This is
that's
the
with
prime.
movies, though. These are shows that I can constantly watch one after the other.
Hey,
Okay, well,
Are you not? Wait. Is this coming from the man that just finished Avatar in like 2 days?
I
That's
mean,
true.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
good
but
point.
look, Avatar, we don't have like 18 movies about, you know?
true. Okay, I will
I know
say,
we will lose the casual fans.
yeah, I was gonna say you're definitely gonna lose casual fans, but we're not casual fans, guys, so we'll be fine.
But moving on to the What If show, I didn't know it was animated, but I'm excited but also a little cautious of it because of the animation style. They're doing the weird like pseudo 3D 2D thing from the
They're doing the
trailer,
Resistance
apparently.
thing, the Star Wars Resistance kind of.
Oh, I don't
No, they're
like
not.
that.
Are they?
I feel
Are they
like-
doing the Star Wars Resistance animation?
Kind
mean,
of better.
I mean-
it looks better, but
yeah, it
it's
definitely
still
looks
kind
better.
of in there.
I wouldn't call it
That's-
like Star Wars Resistance. That I don't know, because Star Wars Resistance is like a particular brand of like meh. But yeah, this is the What If show. I think the ideas I think are going to be the thing that carries it. It remains to be seen if the visual style will hold up. I'd be more interested if it was multiple styles. Like if they tried to make like an animated anthology, let different studios have a go at it. That could be
cool.
that could be a great opportunity for, reaching out.
That's
Like
what they're doing,
different-
I think, with the Star Wars. They're doing like an anime. They're doing like animated anime
They are.
things.
Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, that.
Oh,
So I
cool.
feel like that would be really interesting for them to do that, like a different director or something for each episode.
Yeah.
Colin, what are you mostly looking forward to in
Like-
What If?
What if I like? Well, I'm excited for just like. I'm a sucker for those what if scenarios. Like, what if Penny Carter was Captain
Oh, I am
America?
too.
You know, that sort of thing. But I do think going off of what Matt said, it'd be kind of cool for like each what if like each what if question could be like a season, but based on like the theme of that storyline, it could be a different art style, you know?
Right. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they're going to do like a whole season of different what if, like if this is all going to be one what if story of like each person is in a different role, or is this going to be each episode is a different kind of what if scenario, you know?
I feel like it's going to be in that first season, it's going to be just a whole bunch of different stories. Maybe some will be longer, others will be shorter, some might be two-parters, but I feel like they're going to try and tackle a couple of different angles.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like but I don't know. I feel like if it's not one what if scenario per season, it can get a bit choppy and lost on the viewer, I feel.
Well, I guess that's true, but at the same time, if they're not looking to do a whole cohesive story, then I feel like it wouldn't be lost if it's just short stories in a different type of universe, you know? Like it's like, oh, like I'm just taking this specific story for this character out of this kind of universe. Because I mean, from what I can tell, it's the whole thing of like the Watcher who watches over the multiverse. He's like just telling you stories of each universe in the multiverse, and he's like, ask yourself the question, what if? So it's like, what if this character is in this? That might just be an episode. Or what if an evil Doctor Strange fought an actual Doctor Strange? That would be one episode. So I get where you're coming from, in that, yeah, you'd probably lose the viewer, but at the same time, if you're not looking to do a whole cohesive story and you're just going to do just like random shorts, almost like some kind of cartoon, like a normal cartoon you see on like Nickelodeon or something, where it's not cohesion all the way through, then I feel like you might just be fine like that.
Yeah, and I feel like
Right.
the premise alone is easy enough to grab where I feel like anybody could get into it for even just one episode and be like, oh, that was an interesting, what if scenario. I also just remember that they cast Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop in for that new Hawkeye series that they're making. I'm excited for that because Hawkeye for a long time
Yeah.
was my favorite Avenger. Like pretty much ever since I saw the first Avengers movie, he was my favorite.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because
Wow, that is so. I've never met anyone that's had Hawkeye as their fave. Interesting.
you know why it was is because he was the person who kind of like spoke the least, but he always did like cool shit with he like like he was the person who like every other Avenger in that film was like, oh yeah, this is fucking Iron Man, fucking Captain America, fucking Thor, but because he did so much cool shit while not having a ton of like time dedicated to being like fleshing him out, I just kind of was really interested in him because of the mystery. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like he keeps doing like lots of cool shit.
And then you see his cool family. You see his family in Age of Ultron. He's an interesting character. The show is going to be fucking awesome. Kate Bishop's a really cool character. And they have like a dog or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, the Hawkeye just continued to become more and more interesting. I just feel like the way that they treated him, when they have certain ideas about more niche characters, they can abandon them really easily, and I don't like when they do that. Like when they abandoned Black Widow and Hulk as a romantic pairing. I feel like they kind of did a similar thing with Hawkeye, even though they did make him cool samurai man, but I don't think they went as far with that as they could have. But then again, they also had time constraints and had to wrap up a lot of shit.
You know what?
Maybe they'll make him Samurai Man in What If.
You know what Endgame Hawkeye reminds me of is Idris Elba in Dark Tower.
Kind of.
Him just saying "I kill with my heart." He's being real edgy in Endgame. I feel like.
Does he say "I kill with my heart"?
No, he never says
Elba
that.
does. I'm ripping. But
I was gonna say.
I kill with my heart. I love that line. I kill with my heart.
But can someone explain to me what the MODOK show is? Like, I don't fully.
Okay, so I got you on that.
Hold on. What?
Maddock is what he meant.
That's right. Yeah.
I believe.
There's no
Well,
A in
Maddock?
it.
There is no A, but I believe they pronounce it Maddock, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe. Wait, is
Well,
there an A? Is there not? Is it MODOK?
I mean, it's written here as MODOK.
MODOK.
Oh shit! Am I wrong? Oh, I'm wrong. I swear somebody says like it's pronounced Maddock, but I could just be an idiot.
Could be the
Although
article.
honestly, the only thing I know about him is from the fucking Avengers games. So, but from what I was hearing about the MODOK, I'm just gonna say MODOK, is that it's going to be a adult like animated show. It seems interesting to me in that first of all, MODOK is not a character that like I really know about in general. Like, have you guys even heard of him besides seeing how stupid he looked?
Nope.
I've
I
heard
thought you were
of him.
saying Matt Murdock. So I was like, wait, what? The Matt Murdock show? Oh my God. Sign me up.
Oh my God.
Oh, so he's just creepy head of Bo from Doctor Strange with small feet and arms.
You mean Dr. Who?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yes, basically. Basically, it's from what I have seen, it's about MODOK, and because he's the head of AIM, and he gets basically like fired from AIM in the show, and then I guess AIM's like in bankruptcy and it's sold or whatever. So now he's like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like him at home with his family, and he's gonna be like a giant killing computer head person.
I just like
man.
His family.
waddling around with his giant head, and just his small children are the same, essentially.
I have no idea. All I know is that.
Oh my
it sounds
God, I
ridiculous.
know who this is. I don't know. This was not clicking. I didn't know this guy name. That fucking weird ass blockhead ass man with like little arms and legs.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing. He's gonna be at his house with his family.
that's what I heard. That's what I've heard about it at least.
No fucking way. That sounds amazing. That sounds like it'll be funny, like the Loki TV show.
Honestly, though, yeah. I mean, again, I have no idea what else this is going to be about. That's all I've heard about it. So I have no fucking idea. But it sounds ridiculous enough for me to love it. So I'm excited for it.
Right. Well, ever since they were like, let's fucking try Guardians of the Galaxy, I think MCU was just not afraid to try weird shit anymore.
I mean, honestly, they went from like Iron Man to be like, let's just fucking go to Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, all this trippy space shit. And everybody's like, fuck yeah. So yeah, I think they're just gonna go up and up from here with the weird shit they're gonna try out, honestly.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm definitely excited for What If as well myself. Mostly just because of, like you were saying, Colin, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where I'm like, I like to see all these weird what if scenarios, which is something I wish Star Wars did as well. I wish they did like.
I'm not say that would be beautiful.
Honestly, yeah, like seeing like, oh, like what if Anakin never got his legs chopped off and burned alive? Like,
Oh man,
just something like that.
In Clone Wars animation, like, take my money, please.
Honestly, so like just seeing stuff like that, but in the Marvel universe is really interesting because I've read about like there is a universe where Tony Stark is a Sorcerer Supreme, so I'd like to see something like that, stuff like that. So it's stuff that I'm excited for. I just hope they.
Use the right stuff.
Right. But the thing is, as well, is like what Colin was saying, if they make it a whole season, I don't foresee this going on like forever, honestly. So it's like they can only choose very specific stories. But if they do it,
they're
where
not doing
each
that
episode. That's why I say I think they're going to do each episode so they can at least show you more and more things.
Yeah, because what I know for a fact is going to be in it is we're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy type situation, but instead T'Challa was taken up instead of Chris Pratt. And then we are getting the Captain America Peggy thing.
T'Challa instead of Chris Pratt.
Y'all got what I meant.
Can I just go? I just want to go back to something that Frank said earlier.
Yeah.
About like Star Wars doing something like that. Just side tangent. I would love it if the people who make those Star Wars like Galaxy of Adventures shorts, if they did like a full something with that art style. Yeah. Because it's very,
that's fucking amazing.
You know, it's a very simple art style, but it's also just very full of heart. Epic. and the action choreography is really good. It's like it's cute, but it can also, you know, it can portray those really dramatic moments very well. So I would love to see them do more than just those short trailers that are already great.
Yeah, those are really cool.
I'd be down for that 1,000,000%. Sign me up.
Yes. Now I'm kind of wondering, what if Visions is their what if saga? Because like I don't know much about it, but like I feel like that could possibly be it. Because what else are they going to do for it?
Maybe.
Wait, you mean like WandaVision is the what if?
No, sorry. The Star Wars Vision. Sorry, I'm still on the Star Wars topic. The Star Wars Visions, where it's like the different directors, like the anime directors and stuff like that. Like, what if that is their what if?
That could be
what a great idea with that show. What a great idea. The different type of style of animation, Star Wars, like,
just to end the topic about like the Star Wars thing, since I know that's not like the main topic. If they were to get any studio together to animate something for the Star Wars Visions, I feel like they need to get Kyoto Animation, because I just finished watching one of their shows from like 2013. Michael knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Kyokai no Kanata or Beyond the Boundary. And that is a show where, like, when I watched it, the first thing I thought was, like, imagine this quality of animation, but with lightsaber duels. Like,
that
it
would
could be
fucking amazing.
Oh, it would be so great. It'd be so amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Before I go on to what I'm excited for, Colin, do you have anything else to finish up for your what if, or?
Not really. All I gotta say is I'm excited to see what Oscar Isaac brings to the table of Moon Knight, because
same here.
Because like I've heard about Moon Knight before the shows were announced, and I was like, man, this would be fucking wild if they made this into like film in any way. I was like, no, they're not gonna do it. I heard about that before Guardians of the Galaxy existed. So
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he basically just like Batman with DID?
It's DID. What?
Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, he might have that. I know that he's
That's what I thought he did.
I know he's got like some more supernatural shit going on with his origin
Well, yeah,
story.
he has like a Egyptian god shit going on. I'm pretty sure. So
That's
Colin, you
cool.
love it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is what we're talking.
What'd you say?
So Yu-Gi-Oh is what we're going with here, MCU. Like,
Yeah.
Your move, Kaiba.
Well, with Moon Knight,
I'm
that's
so excited for that as well.
that's also a darker character. So I'm hoping that, if they're willing to, I would love it if they tried to kind of reignite that old style of storytelling from like Daredevil to apply a similar touch to Moon Knight with the maturity.
It's funny that you say that, because that's exactly what I was going to say is why I'm excited for what's in the future. I was going to say
Sure.
but that was what I was going to say, is that
Stop him.
the fact that they now have at least Daredevil back for right now, but they're going to have obviously the Punisher back and all of them.
Nice.
Those two are my few favorite Marvel superheroes, dude. They're anti-hero. Excuse me. Sorry, Punisher.
I would say Punisher is, I think, one of my favorite TV shows of all time still.
I would believe it. Daredevil, I've only seen the first 2 seasons, and that is top 5 favorite TV show of all time.
Dude.
The action is fucking amazing.
Season 3, if you love the first 2 seasons, I think after watching season 3, the bold statement incoming, bold statement of everything that Marvel has done since like 2008, I think that Daredevil is the premiere, the peak of Marvel's work since the beginning of the MCU.
Honestly, I'd believe you, because that show is so fucking good.
At least artistically, I think.
I don't agree, but I do think it is good. I don't agree, but it is definitely some of the best Marvel. I mean, not in the universe, because obviously those shows realistically do not connect like in any way besides saying the incident. But overall, I will say it is definitely some of the best Marvel has been created in the last like 10 years that Marvel has been doing it. But I would not say it's the best
Marvel show at the moment.
I hold Punisher's better myself. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think Punisher's way better.
But did you watch
it into Punisher?
I like Iron Fist.
You said you didn't like the end of Punisher?
No, I said I just couldn't get into it because like the first 5 episodes about him killing people and kidnaps a naked dude and makes him work for him essentially.
Colin, you've just ruined the entire show.
He actually did not.
The naked dude
honestly,
has been my favorite part.
Favorite character of the MCU.
Naked man from Punisher.
Much like how T-shirt man is my favorite Star Wars character.
Well, but at least his name is Micro. Thank you very much.
Well, don't say anything more, Matt. Don't spoil this for Frank.
Well, Michael, I'm curious. Did you watch Daredevil season 2?
I've watched all of Daredevil. I've watched all of the Marvel, the Netflix shows, except for the last season of Jessica Jones.
Oh, okay.
Because I just can't get back into Jessica Jones. First season was great. Second one I did not like whatsoever. So I didn't feel like watching the third one.
Okay.
Yeah. So Michael, what are you most excited about with these characters? Like, are you wanting like in a Spider-Man movie, like Charlie Cox to come back and be Daredevil and be like, hey, Peter Parker, I'm your lawyer now. I'll help you out, dude. You know.
So I'm not somebody who's a stickler who thinks that yes, they need to bring back Charlie Cox, but if they brought him back because he was such a great Daredevil, I would not complain.
They have to bring the Kingpin actor back too.
Oh, for sure. They honestly should bring both of them back.
Oh my god, I'm convinced Henry Cavill is Superman, and that guy who plays Kingpin is Kingpin as well. Like, they are perfect.
I was about to suggest that they bring back the guy who played Kingpin in the first Daredevil movie, but then I remembered that I think that actor died. Unfortunately. So
what a dark turn.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah.
Rest in peace to
Michael Douglas.
Ben Affleck, Daredevil Kingpin.
Michael Douglas? Michael Douglas was not.
Wait,
There's no way
was not. No, he wasn't. It was who was he? He had that deep voice. Hold on. Daredevil 2003.
Anyways, Michael, you just continue.
Yeah, while
talking
he's looking that
about,
up. I don't think they need to bring him back, but it would be so amazing if they did have like Peter was just like arrested like in the room, like how it was in the beginning of Daredevil with Karen in the room, and all of a sudden you just see Matt and Foggy walk in and he's like, Peter Parker, I'm your attorney. And I'll be like, bro, no fucking way. If they did that,
oh man,
that might even be like I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna bring Foggy. They might get a different actor to play him.
No.
Yeah, which would be
I don't know.
I think it'd be fine. He is a good one, but I think that'd be fine. If they brought Charlie Cox though, I would still be really excited if they brought him back.
Michael Clark Duncan.
They might.
That was the actor's name.
Okay,
You got Michael right.
What the fuck that is, but rest in peace, my man.
He was also in the Green Mile.
Oh,
Okay.
dude, great movie, Green Mile.
Green Mile is a great man.
Yeah. Shout out to Green Mile.
Yeah.
They might make Matt Murdock blonde in the MCU. Finally, actually make him like accurate to his comic
Honestly,
appearance.
I kind of
Or like
don't want
red
that.
hair. Oh, neither do I. Neither do I.
I honestly don't really want that. Not that I think like I don't have anything against blonde or strawberry haired
Yeah.
people.
You got something against blonde hair, you son of a bitch?
Yes, I do. But if you guys didn't know,
Oh.
Frank is the only blonde person on this podcast.
You're also in a loving relationship with a blonde. I just want you to remember that.
Actually, right now her hair is
What?
brunette. You haven't seen her hair, but she dyed it.
Watch
Oh,
your
really?
mouth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways,
Matt,
I just I just don't think you
I love that response from Matt. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
Careful,
overall,
careful, Matthew. Your gay is showing.
Oh wow, that was good. Oh shit.
Oh,
But overall, I just sorry, Frank's throwing me off. Just trying to think of him with like that blondish or reddish hair like on screen, I just feel like it would look too weird for me. At least if it was Charlie Cox. So if they were gonna do that, they would have to
No,
replace him
yeah.
at that point.
They
to.
can't dye his hair. That'd be
But
terrible.
If they aren't dyeing his hair, then they should keep Charlie Cox.
I
Oh,
feel
man, but-
like they can't keep they can't cast these characters based off of hair color alone, you know. Unless
no,
it's like
for
Black
sure.
Widow, where that's like her iconic thing. But
Right. But even then, like I don't they shouldn't do it just off of hair color. But they also should not dye it because I feel like unless they could somehow do it in a natural way that makes him overall look okay. But I just don't see it happening. I think him as a dark-haired Daredevil is good. Plus having the red glasses with red hair, I think would be way too weird.
yeah.
yeah.
Too much red.
But
Too much red.
exactly. But I am excited. I do think they should restart it. There are people who want them to continue it on. I
Agreed.
don't think they should do that. I think they should completely restart it.
I only disagree with you for one reason. And it's because season 3, in addition to concluding everything really well, also introduced one of the most scary, intimidating like depictions of like Bullseye I've ever seen. And
That is true.
I would love to see Bullseye actually donning his own like costume and fighting against Daredevil again.
And that's true.
Oh my
but,
god, I'm so excited to watch the 3rd season. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you need to watch it. But yeah, I would agree with that. But the only thing is, they can still do that. They can just actually integrate this more into the MCU and then still introduce him as a villain later on. And I think they would probably be able to do that a little bit better overall.
Oh,
Just because-
but you'd miss out on all that great buildup that they had establishing him.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't see them just throwing in the the show and just being like, yeah, this is completely
Yeah,
disjointed from the whole thing.
Disney hates the Iron Fist show and the Luke Cage
As
show.
they
There's no way
should.
to-
I thought
Yeah.
Luke Cage was all right. I thought it was
Luke Cage
pretty-
was all right.
No. Iron Fist,
Iron Fist is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember I was like, yeah, no, this isn't as bad as people thought. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's pretty bad.
I can't
Luke-
finish season 1. I can't finish it. I'm
Yeah,
just
he literally
skipping
can't
going
finish
to
it.
Defender.
Didn't like season 2 end with him like he was able to channel his Iron Fist power into like those like dual 1911s?
This is false. He found, because he didn't have the Iron Fist power anymore, he found, which actually I do think Iron Fist season 2 ended at the strongest note of any of the other seasons that got canceled, besides Daredevil, because they were talking about Orson Welles and they were starting to talk about the other Iron Fists and how there was multiple Iron Fists at the same time. And they were going to go into this whole, I have a graphic novel about basically like they had like a tournament of power kind of like the 7 capital cities of heaven. And they were going to go into that whole thing.
Oh, shit.
So I think that would have been really cool.
That does actually sound pretty awesome.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why like they were going to go into the whole Orson Welles thing. They probably would have had Danny get his power, but from Orson Welles, because that's what happened in the graphic novel. He actually got more Iron Fist power by absorbing his. And then they would have had like Colleen still been Iron Fist, and then Iron Fist, obviously Danny coming back, and a whole different thing. I would have been interested, but I think they should definitely get a different actor. So
wait, we talking like Orson Welles, the author, or what here?
No, Orson Welles is a name. I think it's Orson Welles. Fuck, it's Orson something. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, no, Orson Randall. I don't know anything. No, Danny Rand. Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, Orson Randall.
Orson something. Is it Orson Randall? Was that right?
I looked it up. Or Orson Randall.
Wow, Orson Welles. Okay, my brain's thinking authors.
The mega fan of Iron Fist, the one mega fan of Iron Fist, I'm listening to this for the last.
Like, oh my god, you fucking kidding me?
Fucking like gouging his eyeballs out and like stabbing his ears listening to.
Honestly, sorry, Orson Randall.
All I can think about is Orson Welles now, like, yes, I am the immortal Iron Fist.
Oh shit! Maybe we should get Orson Welles as Iron Fist
on the podcast.
Anyways, I do think they should restart it, but I think the show they shouldn't restart is Punisher. Sorry, Matt just sent a picture of Orson Welles, I'm pretty sure, in the group chat.
I feel like there's multiple Orson Welles we're talking about here, because I just looked it up and he's an actor. I could have sworn there's also an author of it.
I think there is. Didn't he make 19 whatever?
No, you're thinking of H.G. Wells.
Oh, listen, man.
Too many fucking Wells and Orson. Let's keep talking about Marvel. Fuck.
Yeah, you're right. Anyways, I do think they should keep Punisher. I think they should keep the Punisher overall. Exactly how he is.
He is the Punisher. He's another one.
Right.
That's like perfectly captured.
Actor-wise, they need to keep him. Like, no joke, they need to keep John Bernthal as the Punisher. I can't see anybody else. They need to keep him for sure. But I'm talking about like show-wise and story-wise. If they just move the Punisher story into it, that'd be completely fine, because they don't attempt to. First off, he's not a character known for working with others anyways. So it'd be fine to like have that be his like introductory seasons and then like have him get mixed together in the 3rd season. But at the same time, I feel like they might just, if they're going to scrap it, they should probably just scrap it all and then just restart. But I do think the Punisher shows are really, really good. And I feel like they shouldn't change those, because Daredevil, the thing is, if you bring in Daredevil's all of their seasons, after the 2nd season, you'd have to then bring in the Defenders, which means you would have to then bring in Luke Cage, which means you have to then bring in Jessica Jones.
Well, yeah, but if you think
about it, you fuck that up.
But by that logic, like, you know, if you carry over the Punisher story from the show, you have to also bring in Karen Page, who therefore you have to bring in Daredevil, and then you had the same issue all over again.
That's true.
But yeah,
well, not exactly Daredevil. You could only do Karen Page in, because he wasn't in any of Punisher. So
That's true. But Karen Page is also
only very. Have Karen.
That's true, but Karen Page was so important to like the Daredevil story.
Oh no, I'm just saying you can keep Karen and then just have her be in the new Daredevil if they're going to redo it.
That's true.
So it's doable, but realistically, let's be honest, guys, they're just going to completely wipe the whole thing and restart.
I know, and that makes me sad. That makes me sad, because there's a lot of just really great art that I feel like came out. I mean, there was the low points, and I feel like the problem and the sad thing is that the Netflix Marvel shows, I feel like as it went on, there were more low points than high points, or it was a mixed bag. I mean, it took a while between season 2 of Daredevil and season 3, and I feel like season 3 of Daredevil and Punisher season 2 were like 2 of like the best things to come out like right at the end.
Oh, for sure. That's why I feel like I'd be fine if they bring them over, but again, I really feel like they should restart. And I think if they do restart, I think they're going to do it well. At least I hope they do, because Daredevil and Punisher are some of my favorite superheroes. So,
And if we learned anything from them bringing back, who's the actor who played J. Jonah Jameson?
Simon something or Mike?
Yeah. Hey Siri.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
They brought him back, playing the same character, albeit differently. They could set a precedent for doing that in a way, bringing actors who've already played those roles into the MCU. And if they already have a multiverse cop out, then that's the way that they can excuse it. Honestly, even if they don't introduce like Daredevil into the MCU, if they use that multiverse cop out to just say, hey, we're going to give a 4th season to Daredevil or a 3rd season to Punisher, or finally, pay off what we built up to in 2nd season of Iron Fist, I think that'd be great for them to really take advantage of the multiverse thing. I think that some of my favorite universes, the favorite fictional universes, like I'm a big fan of the Fate universe, which was an anime visual novel franchise created by Kanoko Nasu. And it was like, you have all kinds of radically different types of stories. You have the, kind of broadly accessible, battle royale type stories. And then you have like, murder mysteries set in the 90s. That's a franchise that has all kinds of different avenues of entertainment. I think they can do something like that for Marvel, especially if they're introducing time travel and alternate dimensions as they go into this uncharted territory.
The one issue I have with that, though, is the same issue why I never got into Fate, though, is that I don't know where the hell to start,
Why you didn't get into what?
The Fate series is because I don't know where the hell to start with that.
True. That is true.
So that's the one issue I could see with the MCU pulling something like that.
That's true. Well, I feel like it depends on how they go about it, because if they just say like, yeah, this is for sure disjointed, and just like, yeah, just like whatever on the side, like then people are just gonna be like, okay, it's different. But I don't foresee them doing that, because the more they do that, the more they end up canceling that show and then just bringing it into the MCU.
Yeah.
Because all of the other shows so far that they announced, I'm pretty sure had like a season or 2 and then were canceled. And the only show that I know of that is now not an MCU movie or show or movie is the MODOK one. I think that's the only one that's left.
Right.
So yeah. But anyways, before we move on, anybody have anything else to say about the Netflix stuff?
No. Just hashtag save Daredevil.
Hashtag save Vincent or Fronio, whatever his name is, as
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, thanks that. I think the last thing we should talk about is probably Fantastic Four, and I know Frank was pretty excited about it, so I'll let him kind of start off with that.
Yeah, so I think that the next big thing for Marvel to do, besides all these new shows, is now adding in their next team. And I feel like the easiest team to do, opposed to like X-Men and stuff like that, which would be very hard to add in, is the Fantastic Four, which if you think about it, that brings so much to the table. You get Reed Richards, the Elastic Man, right?
Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. I feel like an idiot for saying that. Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, like he is the smartest man in Marvel. You add that into it, you get Doctor Doom as the villain, who Doctor Doom does so much, and he's probably my favorite Marvel villain besides Carnage. But the Fantastic Four is going to add is I love those old school movies too, with Chris Evans and I forget the girl's actor, with Jessica Alba or something. Like that.
Jessica Alba. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, those movies are awesome, and I the Fantastic Four is one of my favorite teams, and I'm just so hyped for the potential of adding that in. And I feel like it's so easy to add the Fantastic Four into the MCU, because there's so many like options of where to add them in. And the only thing I'm really sad about is we won't get any interactions with Tony Stark, Professor X, and Mr. Fantastic, which would have been fucking amazing.
They could have did the Illuminati or whatever it was.
Oh man, that would have been awesome. But
you want to know what my dad suggested as an idea? Actually, hold on, Frank, you finish up first.
I'm done. Go for it.
Okay. I
I'm ready. I wanna hear what you
don't want to
say.
interrupt too much.
No,
But my
you're good.
dad, ages ago, when we were talking about the prospect of a Fantastic Four movie, he had the idea, like, since, like I mentioned before, they had that Easter egg in the first Captain America of, like, the original Human Torch in, like,
Yeah.
back then. And since, introducing the Fantastic Four now, it'd be strange, right? Because, like, the Fantastic Four was, like, the original superhero family of Marvel. So what if
First
instead of
family.
yeah, so, like, what if you, instead of just introducing them in the modern day and saying, like, in the MCU, like, oh, they're new heroes, what if you turn the clock back? What if you set it as, like, a period piece in, like, the 60s? And then had the Fantastic Four film be set there, and it could
No,
be
I
like
just want to
this.
see two Chris Evans going at each other. That's what I wanna
Yes,
see.
that's another great idea. But
Chris,
the other,
Chris.
but then we were talking about, this was after the announcement of, like, the new lineup. We were talking about that new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie that's going to be coming out, Quantumania, where apparently the villain is a known, like, Fantastic Four villain. So
Yes,
what if the Fantastic Four, like, they were this, like, established, group of heroes, like, back in, like, the 60s of the MCU, but then they disappeared. And what if they were
Got stuck in a quantum realm
stuck
or
in a
something?
quantum realm, and then the end of, like,
Oh!
Quantumania is how they introduce them?
That would be
cool.
pretty fucking awesome. That'd be pretty awesome. I'm down for that.
I'd be down for that. And I feel like they're just so easy to add in. So, like, I feel like they're probably just gonna go for something so much simpler and just being like, yeah, like, they're just new heroes that, like, got fucking hit by the gamma radiation or the fuck it was in space.
Yeah.
Although I do remember, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't King the Conqueror being I'm pretty sure King the Conqueror is getting put into one of these movies coming up. I don't remember what it was. I don't know if that's the movie, if it was
King
in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Let me look something up
I think
real quick.
that's fine.
I remember my dad mentioning them. I think that might be the guy who's the villain in
Yes, that is
Quantumania.
King the Conqueror is the villain. Yeah, that's the villain in the
Because King the Conqueror, I'm pretty sure is, I want to say Reed Richards' father, who like goes back in time or goes in the future or some shit, and there's a bunch of stuff. Basically, he's evil, but like something about like time travel and all that shit.
Well, and yeah, he has something to do with time travel, and I'm literally reading things that Endgame is setting up King the Conqueror because they did time travel. Apparently.
Okay.
See, makes sense. But yeah, I'm like 90% sure it's his father. So I'm very, very certain they're going to introduce them in some way in that. Either allude to them or introduce them somehow in that. So
But that's going to be a huge movie, and I'm really excited for that. But
for sure. Which Ant-Man definitely needs some more recognition. Okay. First movie was great. Second movie, okay, I will say it was meh, but it was still a good movie, I think.
That first
But,
movie I liked.
Yeah, first movie I liked a lot. Yeah. So yeah. Unless anybody else has anything to add for Fantastic Four, I'm all done.
I'll say, as much as I tend to call the first Ant-Man kind of like more like mid-tier in Marvel, there's one scene in Ant-Man that always gets me emotionally, and for some reason, maybe it's just because Evangeline Lilly is a good actress, but the scene where Pym, like, tells her the story about what happened to her mother, that scene always gets me for some reason. Like, I've wanted to make like an analysis
of Michael
that.
Douglas's beautiful voice.
Yeah, I think so. It's that, and also it's like her reaction to it in the scene. I don't know, like in a franchise that doesn't often like really get me like emotionally, like to the point of tears. Like Endgame obviously did, because that's like it was like Logan all over again. I was watching a character that I've come to grow up with, like, the end of that. But like, it's surprising that a film like Ant-Man, as middling as it could be in some parts, still elicited something of an emotional reaction. Just a small rant I wanted to go on just because we mentioned Ant-Man. But
Quick thing about Ant-Man. Ant-Man has the best marketing of any Marvel movie with their Ants trailer.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah.
What a wonderful fucking trailer. That literally was like the talk of high school when it first came out.
For those who don't know, there was an ad that was literally just oh my god, yeah, Paul Rudd, right? Paul Rudd
Yep.
and Michael Douglas just like snapping and like slapping their thighs and just going like ants, Ant-Man. It was the best. It was like the best marketing ever.
Yeah, you guys should honestly go watch it. Just I'm sure if you look up Ants trailer, actually you'll probably find something else. I don't even know what you would look up for that. Ants Ant-Man trailer. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah,
but Fantastic Four is probably, honestly, it's probably going to be the biggest movie coming out soon.
I don't know, man. They have so many other things. I don't know if that's going to be the biggest. I think it will be
Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Fantastic Four is the next one, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can agree on that one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm good with that. I do want to say, if anyone else on Fantastic Four?
Nope.
No.
Cool. Just one little fun fact about the future of Marvel. You guys know Christian Bale is going to be in the Thor: Love and Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Is he?
Does anyone know who he's playing?
No.
They didn't even know he was in it.
Well, do I have a fact for you? So he's playing a villain called Gore the God Butcher. Now, I don't know a ton about him. All I know is that the weapon he uses to kill the gods is a symbiote.
Oh, is this the white hair looking dude on like a throne that has a sword or something?
No, that is like the Black King or whatever. He's in the comic books. He's like the symbiote king, but this sword has something to do with him. So
let's see if they actually are like, yeah, that's his sword, or if they're just going to be like, yeah, Sony owns it, so we have to somehow write that out of it.
Yeah, I hope they don't, because that would be an interesting way to introduce it. Just like how they're doing with Reed Richards' dad. They're just having his dad come in first and then introduce him later and then stuff like that. It's kind of cool, right?
Guys, let's not forget about Morbius.
That's Sony. That's Sony. Get that shit out of here.
And Venom 2. Venom 2.
Shit out of here.
Get that shit. It's gonna be carnage.
Michael, you loved Venom.
No.
Venom was just like a fun ride to go on, but like I don't want it to happen.
It was entertaining.
Oh, now you don't want it to happen. Not now.
I don't. No, I don't. You want to know why I don't want it to happen?
Why?
What Sony's trying to do is they're saying, hey, if we are successful enough with these movies, we can make our own Spider-Verse like universe. I want them to fail. I want them to fail so that Marvel can take it back.
Guys, do you know what they called it officially?
There's
what they call that universe officially? It is the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel. Wait, no, I don't. I think it's called Spunk or something like that.
Well, on that note, I think we need to fucking stop the podcast. I need to go throw up in my toilet. That's disgusting.
Marvel. Oh, this is fucking Spider-Man villain. Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna make Sinister Six movie with Venom. It's gonna be great. Like, fuck you. Just give them the rights already.
But if they do it, but hold on, if they do like multiple universes, like in Spider-Man 3, what if they just use that as an excuse to have Andrew Garfield come back for the Sony Pictures Marvel universe?
Hey, I'm honestly down for that. I liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man a lot.
What they should do is, sorry, I didn't know. What they should do is they should be like, yo, we're going to take back Peter Parker, but you guys could have Miles Morales. I'd be totally down for that.
No, Wait,
no,
Marvel would take Miles Morales, so Marvel would take Peter Parker.
Marvel would take Miles.
I'd be down for that. Miles is such a better character than Peter.
Yeah, he's a better character, I agree, but Tom Holland is going to be the next focus of this universe, and then we can have Miles come in after that.
Yeah.
I'm down. You know what? To be the focus, though.
I think I'd be fine with
Holland?
that.
Tom Holland,
I think we should end it here before we go into a rant here.
I'm well documented for not being crazy about the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So yeah, we'll end it there.
Yeah.
That'll be a topic for another day if you guys want to hear us rant about the Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
I love them.
Follow the podcast, The Critical Spectrum, on Instagram. You can also follow. There'll be links in the description. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are not sold but distributed.
Hopefully, we'll get on Apple Podcasts this week.
Yeah, hopefully soon. We'll begin there real soon. Does anybody have any social media they'd like to promote? I always feel like I hog the last part of this.
You're good. I don't really have. I don't want to
Okay.
plug my like personal Instagram. Get my followers up.
If you guys want the very rare occasion we actually stream D&D, that'll also be in the description.
Yes, it will.
Twitch.tv/Big Boy Benji Boy. It's a good time.
Yes, boy with a Y. And then you can find me on sakurasunrise.blog, where I write reviews, news, and analysis of Japanese animation. Oh God, I've been burping this whole podcast. It's like that John Mulaney like joke where he's just talking about how like when you get older you just start talking through your burps. You're just like, and then you can follow me there. It's been driving me insane this entire podcast. You can also follow me on animequarterly.com, where I am the associate editor and probably going to be writing a little something later this month about the final season of Attack on Titan. So there's plenty to look forward to.
Nice.
And in fact, I actually
talk about that.
yeah, I actually like I'm looking at the time because like I'm after we're done with the podcast and after I've prepared it to be uploaded, I need to go watch the new episode. Priorities. But yeah, thank you all very much for listening to The Critical Spectrum, and we hope you'll join us next week when we talk about WandaVision, the first 2 episodes or whatever we as a group have enough time to watch before that episode airs. So
it'll most likely be the 2 episodes. I think.
Here's open. We're all pretty excited, so I feel like we can contort our schedules appropriately.
Hey, think about it, guys. It's the first MCU stuff we're getting since Far From Home.
Yeah, it's been like a year and a half or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I've been itching for that shit, man. I'm fucking hyped. I fucking love. Yeah, I fucking love. I bought this. Yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna. See you guys next week. WandaVision. Woo!